Most men believe prostate problems only mean one thing: waking up at night to urinate. A weaker urinary stream. Maybe a little discomfort that slowly appears with age. But what many men over 60 never realize is that the prostate can slowly create pressure inside the urinary system without causing dramatic pain. And when this pressure builds silently over time, the body begins to adapt in ways that are not always healthy. In rare situations, this silent process can trigger serious complications during the night while a man is asleep. This is why understanding prostate warning signs is not just about comfort. It is about protecting long-term health. Before we go deeper, subscribe to the channel so you never miss important information about male health, circulation, prostate function, and vitality after 50. Now let us understand what actually happens inside the male body. The prostate is a small gland located directly below the bladder. It surrounds the urethra, the tube responsible for carrying urine from the bladder out of the body. When men are younger, the prostate usually works quietly without creating pressure on surrounding structures. But as men age, the prostate often begins to enlarge slowly. This enlargement is extremely common. Many specialists consider it one of the most frequent biological changes that happen in the male body after middle age. However, the problem is not only the size of the prostate. The real issue is the pressure that enlargement can create. Imagine a flexible tube surrounded by a tightening ring. As the prostate grows, it gradually presses against the urethra. At first the change is subtle. Many men notice the urinary stream becoming weaker. It may take longer to empty the bladder. Some men notice a small delay before urine begins to flow. Others feel that the bladder never completely empties. Because these symptoms appear slowly, many men simply adapt to them. But inside the body, the bladder is working harder than it should. The bladder is a muscular organ designed to contract and release urine efficiently. When it has to push against resistance for many years, the muscle begins to experience strain. Over time, small amounts of urine may remain trapped in the bladder. This condition is known as urinary retention. Even when the amount of retained urine is small, it can gradually create irritation inside the urinary tract. Urine that remains in the bladder longer than it should can also increase the risk of bacterial growth. This means the urinary system is no longer working with the same efficiency it once had. Now consider what happens during sleep. During the night, the body enters a different physiological state. Hormones change. Fluid distribution throughout the body shifts. Kidneys filter fluids at a different rhythm. Blood pressure patterns change while the body rests. All of these adjustments are part of the natural sleep cycle. However, if the bladder is already struggling against prostate pressure, nighttime becomes the moment when symptoms often become more noticeable. Many men report waking several times during the night to urinate. Some wake once. Others wake 2 or 3 times. Many assume this is simply a normal part of aging. But in many cases, the body is sending an early signal. The prostate may be interfering with the natural flow of urine. And this leads to one of the most common mistakes men make. The first mistake is ignoring frequent nighttime urination. When a man wakes repeatedly to empty his bladder, it is not random. The body is communicating something important. Ignoring this signal for years allows the underlying pressure to continue building. The second mistake is drastically reducing water intake. Some men believe that drinking very little water will reduce nighttime urination. But this strategy can create the opposite effect. When urine becomes concentrated, it can irritate the bladder lining. This irritation can increase urgency and discomfort. Healthy hydration helps maintain a healthier urinary environment. The third mistake is assuming prostate symptoms will remain stable forever. Some men experience mild symptoms for years. Others slowly develop more significant obstruction. Without attention, symptoms may gradually become more intense. This is why awareness is extremely important. If this information is helping you understand what may be happening inside the male body after 60, take a moment to like this video. Your support helps more men discover information that could protect their long-term health. Now let us talk about lifestyle factors that researchers frequently examine when studying prostate health. The first factor involves circulation. Healthy blood flow supports oxygen delivery and nutrient transport to tissues throughout the body. The pelvic region is no exception. The prostate, bladder, and surrounding tissues depend on healthy vascular circulation. Regular physical movement helps support vascular flexibility. Activities such as walking can stimulate circulation throughout the lower body. Movement also supports metabolic health and hormonal balance. The second factor involves nutrition. Certain foods contain plant compounds that researchers have studied for their potential role in supporting prostate health. Tomatoes contain lycopene, a natural carotenoid that researchers frequently examine in relation to prostate tissue. Pumpkin seeds contain zinc and plant compounds that may support cellular processes inside the prostate. Vegetables such as broccoli contain sulfur-based plant compounds that researchers study for their protective biological properties. These foods do not cure prostate conditions. However, they may support biological pathways that contribute to healthier prostate tissue. Another important factor involves body composition. Excess abdominal fat is associated with metabolic changes that can influence hormone balance and inflammation levels. Maintaining a healthy weight may help reduce stress on multiple organ systems. This includes the cardiovascular system and the urinary system. There is also an important connection that many men do not realize. The prostate does not function in isolation. The pelvic region depends on a network of blood vessels. These vessels influence erectile function, bladder performance, and tissue oxygenation. In many cases, the same vascular health factors that influence erectile function also influence prostate health. This means cardiovascular health and prostate health are closely connected. When circulation improves, multiple systems benefit together. Healthy blood vessels help deliver oxygen and nutrients to tissues throughout the pelvic region. Some men also discuss nutritional supplementation with healthcare professionals when exploring additional ways to support prostate health. But it is important to remember that nutrition and supplementation should complement medical evaluation, not replace it. If urinary symptoms become more frequent or more intense, medical evaluation is essential. Symptoms that should never be ignored include pain during urination, blood in the urine, or sudden changes in urinary patterns. Healthcare professionals have several tools that help evaluate prostate health and urinary function. Early evaluation allows professionals to determine whether symptoms are mild, moderate, or require treatment. The earlier these changes are detected, the easier they often are to manage. The most important message is this: the body rarely stays silent forever. Long before serious complications appear, the body often sends small signals. A weaker urinary stream, frequent nighttime urination, the sensation that the bladder never completely empties. These signals may appear small, but they often represent the earliest clues that the prostate is placing pressure on the urinary system. Recognizing those signals early can make a powerful difference in long-term health and quality of life. If you want to learn more about natural strategies researchers are studying to support prostate circulation and male vitality, check the link in the first pinned comment.